Thanks for listening to Better Business, Better Life. I'm your host, Deborah Chantry-Taylor. We're going to do something a little bit fun now. This podcast, would you believe, has been going since 2020. It started off as a bit of a fun hobby, and now some 5 or 6 years later, we're 260 episodes in and still going strong. Each week I produce a new episode, but I thought it might be fun to bring back some of the old episodes and leave them just exactly as they were. So no tweaks, no edits. So there might be a little bit of poor quality in there, but at least you'll get to see and hear from some of the most amazing business people that I've spoken to over those 5 or 6 years. I really hope you enjoy the episodes, and don't forget, if you ever need any help, just reach out to me. I'm only an email away, deborah@businessaction.com.au or deborah@businessaction.co.nz. Better Business, Better Life, here to help. So good morning. Welcome to another episode of Better Business, Better Life. I am here today with the beautiful Justine Parsons, who is the founder and visionary for your virtual assistant here in New Zealand. Welcome, Justine. Lovely to have you.
Lovely to be here. Thank you, Deb.
Oh, pleasure. So Justine and I have actually known each other for many, many years. We go a long, long way back, but it was really interesting. We hadn't actually spoken for a while. And out of the blue, I got a phone call from Justine in early 2020 saying that she saw I was doing EOS as an implementer and could we have a chat? And so we got together and we had a chat, and from there began, I suppose, what I would call your EOS journey. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that this morning and what that's been like. But before we start, Justine, would love the listeners to get a sense of who you are. So could you share a professional and personal best with me, please?
Okay, a professional best is, and this goes back to working with you with EOS and finding out what our core values are, which has been priceless in terms of who we work with and who we work for. So last week we successfully won a client, Save the Children. I'm really passionate about supporting businesses who are out there doing good and changing the world. So That's a huge win. We were up against a temp agency. So as a virtual assistant business, we were more expensive. So yeah, that's a huge win.
Well, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Personally, it remains the fact that I don't work weekends. I catch up on my emails on a Sunday night, but just having that time to recharge, get away from work is, it's so good, and doing it guilt-free. So that's something I'm really proud of and grateful for.
Because there's a real skill, isn't it? You can take the time off. If you spend the whole time worrying about the business or feeling guilty about it, then you might as well not bother.
Yeah, exactly. So some time away is just recharging.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, look, so let's talk a little bit about your EOS journey. So we had that fateful call. It was before this whole COVID-19 pandemic, and we came in and we talked about what EOS was. Tell me a little bit about, how did you come across EOS? Why did you come to me? Tell me a little bit about the story.
We were approached late 2019 by a client wanting us to support him in an integrator role. Yep. And I hadn't heard of EOS. So I did some research online, thought, oh, wow, this is simple. It's actionable. There's heaps of free tools. I can do this myself. So I spent a week working through all the tools, got really excited, and then life jumped it right down the priority list. Client work always comes first, so it got pushed aside. So then when I saw on LinkedIn that you'd become accredited, I was like, wow, I know Deb, I trust Deb, I would love to work with you. So I reached out to you.
Yeah. And just so the listeners got a bit of a sense of your business. So you run a virtual assistant business, yes, but it's a little bit different. I mean, all of your virtual assistants are based here in New Zealand. Yes. They're all from a variety of backgrounds. How many do you have now on the team?
We've got 27 at the moment.
Yep. And the business has been going for 22 years. Is that right?
22 years. For the last 10 years, I went from just being me to growing a team of contractors.
Yep.
Trying to get away from a job and more towards a business. So that's what we do. We support businesses with virtual assistant services.
And so for those who don't really understand virtual assistant services and maybe just thought it's all about taking it offshore, tell me what your team actually do. Why do they exist?
We partner with our clients. We work with them across their business. I pair them up with what we call a lead VA who gets to know them, builds a relationship with our client, gets to know their business, and they then project manage that client's tasks amongst the team. So we've got, for example, graphic designer, WordPress, social media, content writers, so that you've got the best person for that particular job.
Yeah. So it's not like a traditional kind of VA could just be one person and they might try and do everything for you. But there's some challenges around that in terms of specialty, but also what happens if they're not available, right?
Absolutely. So it's a win-win, our model, in that our clients are getting that expertise for their particular task. And from a team point of view, our unbillable time is much less because we're not constantly trying to learn different things.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. And what does one of your ideal clients look like?
They're out there,
yes,
making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
They share our core values. They're great communicators. They're respectful. They're not micromanagers.
Yeah.
And they see the value in what we can do for them.
Fantastic. Okay. So we go back to 2020 when we had that sort of that initial catch up. And I know we were very excited and we were all very keen to get on board. And then, of course, COVID hit, right?
Yes. And I reached out to you and I was, Deborah, can we postpone this? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what clients we're going to lose. I'm scared and uncertain. And yeah, can we pause?
Yeah. And what was my response?
Yes, more than happy to pause, but think about it, Justine. Is this not the best time to be looking at a system like EOS? So no matter what the future brings, we're ready for it.
Yeah, perfect. And I'm so pleased that you kind of thought about that and came on board. So we actually started back in March, I think it was the end of March 2020, which was just as everything had locked down. Now, fortunately, because you're a virtual team and I can hold my sessions virtually, we were able to get stuck into it then, and we did. We started with a focus day.
Yes.
And that was almost 16 months ago now. I think in the beginning, tell us what that journey was like for you.
I came to you because, and I know it's an EOS term, but we'd hit the ceiling.
Yeah.
2019, there's been a whole lot of virtual assistants come to the market. So we were no longer getting that really good organic growth. So I was a bit tired, but losing the passion. And I knew I needed to do something to be in a different place in the future. So like I said, I tried self-implementing, but having those initial days with you really shone the light on the fact that me implementing EOS was one-dimensional. Having the value of someone outside of our organisation and bringing in our leadership team to work on our VTO and our core values and our accountability chart, I canned everything I'd done by myself.
Yeah. And what was the value of having an external person? So I often get asked this. I mean, I'm all for people self-implement. In fact, as long as people use EOS, I'm a happy person, right? Because I just want people to have a better life through a better business. So please, everybody, do whatever you can to get EOS into your business. But what do you think the key differences are between trying to do it yourself as a self-implementer and actually working with a professional EOS implementer?
The key differences were, there's so many. One, you taught us EOS in the order it should be taught. So you took us through the exercises, the planning sessions, and we got the very best out of EOS, whereas I was picking what was fun to do. Another factor is we're accountable to you. So because I trust you, but also because we are paying for your support,
yeah,
I can't afford to not make the most use of it. So there's that accountability factor. You call me on my bullshit excuses. you encouraged me to have some difficult conversations when I would have gone around that route, because I don't like confrontations. So you pushed me and my team to what's the word? To do more.
Yeah. Okay. So pushing you sort of to lift that game. That's fair enough. And I remember in the beginning, I mean, we now know that you're the visionary, right? But you were actually wearing many, many hats in the beginning, weren't you?
Yes.
How
And
was
I
that?
thought I was the best person to wear those hats. I'm not.
Yeah. So we've now got to, so we're 60 months into the journey. We've actually gone through our annual planning session just recently, and it was really wonderful. We've now got a full team. We've got an integrator in the business. We've got you as the visionary. We've got a person who's looking after operations. We've got the finance side. You still wear some of the sales and marketing hat at the moment, don't you? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in general, what's the change been like for you to be able to get to that, and what was it like having to let go?
Letting go wasn't, once I had the right people, so it took us a little while to, for example, find an integrator. It took us a little while to find Nikki as our operations manager, because it was so important to get the right people, because we're about people. Once we did that, then letting go was easy, because the trust was there, the planning and the foundational work that we'd done with you was there. So letting go, as opposed to seeing the value and bringing more heads into the game, was a win-win.
Yeah. And so now, I mean, I know that people are often looking for that kind of magic silver bullet. I always say to anybody, if you're looking for a magic silver bullet or a magic potion, EOS is not it, because it takes hard work, it takes consistency. It really means you have to stick at it and adopt the process really purely. The first 6 months, how would you say it was in terms of the business? What were the challenges along the way?
You know that cheese ad, good things take time?
Yes. Yeah.
The first 6 months was slow. We were getting our systems up to speed. We were working hard to make sure that they were followed by all. So all that non-exciting legwork. But so we'd look, and we were so focused on issues. We had to make a really strong point to look back at what we'd achieved each week and each month and each quarter. But the momentum picked up. So our successes and our achievements, they're coming faster. And I mean, we've got some big goals that we've worked on with you. We want to go from a team of 27 as it is now to 500 in 10 years. But I know that we've got the foundational work to be able to do that in a good way.
Yep. Fantastic. And so now you have really kind of embraced that visionary role, and I've seen what that's done for the business, but can you share a little bit with us what that has meant for you to be freed up to do what we would call your God-given talent or your unique ability? What does that feel like? What has it meant for you?
Oh, it's so exciting. For the past 5 years, I've been wanting to do online courses. So having this space has meant that we've launched our Virtual Business Manager Academy. It's meant that I'm spending much more time, like we've recently implemented one-on-one catch-ups with each of the team. And I have one a week, which is just priceless. It's about, those personal connections that I really care about, which you don't get time for when you're, swapping hats all day long.
So
they would be the biggest things, just having the space to get things done that have been on the back burner, and those relationships.
Yeah. Okay. So was there it's different for every company. So you can't say, hey, look, at month 7, suddenly everything falls into place. But when do you think everything did start to fall into place and you could start to see sort of some measurable results, because it isn't an overnight thing.
No, it would have been late last year.
Yeah.
We were hitting our financial targets. We weren't hitting some of our intangible, like we've got a happiness scale and things like that. So late last year, we really started to see we were achieving 90% of our weekly to-dos. We were on track with our quarterly rocks. We were much more focused about what we could achieve, so we were being more realistic with our weekly level 10 meetings. So late last year.
Okay. And how did that feel?
Well, so like, and I think I've said this to you before, I had a small business mentality when I came to you. It was me and my team. I'm now at the helm of a business that I'm so proud of, that we know what our strengths are, we know who we want to work with, we know what our goals are. So knowing where we're going has been huge. Yeah, I'm so proud of that.
Excellent. And of course, we did our annual planning session just a month ago, I think it was. And review, in the annual planning session, we review the year that has been. And you had a fantastic year last year, right?
We did.
Yeah.
And yet you still helped us identify a whole lot of issues that we still had. We working through that SWOT analysis with you, getting the leadership team involved. I keep referring back to it, Deb.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are our issues? What are our opportunities? Yeah, I was nervous coming into that annual planning because I didn't want to let you down.
Oh, it's not about me.
and I had a picture of what we were going to achieve, and you hit it out of the park. You can't always do that without someone outside who's helping you see things that you wouldn't see in your little comfort zone.
Yeah. It's one of the things I talk about, my role within those days is basically threefold. I am a teacher in terms of helping you to understand how to use the EOS tools in the proven process in the right way. I'm also a facilitator, and people who are listening in can't see, but I've got my elephant here in the back of the podcast room, and I use my elephant, my other tools, to actually help facilitate, to get people comfortable with being uncomfortable and having those sometimes difficult conversations. And then I am the coach, which is the person who, if you think about a coach of a sports team, they actually are not in the team, in the weeds, doing the stuff. They can actually take a much more holistic view because they're not that involved. And I think that's probably one of the key things that I love, is that I treat every one of my clients as if it's my own business, but at the same time, I am actually able to see it from a coaching perspective, which is looking at what you're doing from the outside and being able to give some insight from that perspective.
And that's what I think a lot of businesses are missing, is that outside, that coaching, that implementer role. You don't realize how much further you can push yourself without that.
Yes. Hey, one of the things we did in the annual planning session, and we always do, was a little team health exercise. Without giving away everything about it, can you tell us a little bit about, what that was like for you? Because I know you were a bit nervous about it, and then how you felt afterwards.
That was really hard. Yeah, you took us into that exercise saying, here's a fun little exercise. And each of us, each of the leadership team had to think really hard. We've put the one thing that we need to work on that came out of that exercise. It's we touch on it in our weekly level 10 meetings.
Yep.
We can't tick it off until the end of the year, but that was really hard, and it really helped to grow the trust and support that we have in the team.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I know you were very nervous about it. That's great to see that you're using it. Okay. So
I think I actually teared up during that exercise. So your version of fun and mine are slightly different.
Okay, so I might be a little bit of a sadist or who knows, masochist, one or the other, both perhaps. Hey, just from a tool perspective, EOS has got a huge sort of, well, not a huge raft of tools. It's got a core set of tools and some additional tools that actually help. And one of the things we love about EOS is how simple it is, but simple doesn't always mean easy, right? So simple, we use tools like a SWOT, which has been around for many, many centuries, but it's about how you actually implement it. Do you have a favorite tool, do you think, from the EOS toolkit?
I mentioned working through our core values with you was one of the most pivotal things that we've done.
Yep.
IDSing, we're still getting better at. I've asked my integrator to become an expert on it so that we can make that something we do as an entire team as part of our day-to-day. The level 10 meetings is my favourite tool.
Yeah, actually, it's one of my favorite ones too. I actually think that if you did nothing else but instigate level 10 meetings, I think it has a fundamental impact on the business that you just can't get from any other tool.
That's where our traction and our momentum comes from, those weekly level 10 meetings.
And I remember back in the beginning, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, I always teach people how to do the level 10 meetings, and I come and check in to see how they're going. And I think we had our check-in, and we recognized a few things that could be tweaked, and we helped with that. And then you kind of fell off the wagon a little bit with the level 10 meetings, didn't you?
We were sprawled on the asphalt. and we're still, how many months have we been on this EOS journey?
Yep.
Last week at our level 10, we were talking, like I said, about IDSing.
Yep.
And I said to the ladies, if Deb was in on this meeting, would she be proud of how we've just IDS these issues? And we decided you wouldn't be proud, which is why Sue's to do is to go away and become an expert in IDSing. I think the problem was I IDS'd and I didn't let the team contribute. So I talked for 5 minutes, came up with the solution and said, okay, so we can tick that off, it's done.
At least you're recognizing it, and that's the important thing. And I think that's part of why I say it's a journey, right? Because it doesn't, you can't just start doing it and get it all absolutely 100% right in the beginning. It takes time to strengthen, like muscles at the gym, right? It takes time to strengthen those muscles in the business. And the stronger they get, and we talk about working on those 6 components, then the stronger you get in those 6 key components, the better the business becomes, the stronger the business overall becomes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So in terms of the journey, obviously, you've been doing it for a while now. Could you share with us sort of 3 top tips that you would give to somebody else who might be considering going on a similar journey?
Yes, absolutely. So as I said, we were introduced to EOS by a client, and I went and did my research, worked through some of the tools. So I had an awareness of EOS and I knew it was a good fit for us. The second tip I would say would be to think about where you're at in your business now and where you want to be in a year's time. Yeah. I knew if I didn't change, nothing would change. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to get to a different place. Yeah. And the third thing would be to have a no strings chat with the lovely Deborah, because you don't hold back. You say it like you see it, and you need to talk to someone outside of your team.
Yeah, fair enough. That's great. And like I said, I mean, I'm not a pressure salesperson at all. In fact, I don't actually mind if you work with me or not. I'm just really passionate about seeing people have a better life. And I think the EOS tools help us to do that by creating that better business. So the free tools are amazing, aren't they? I mean, I'm always gobsmacked by how much EOS just gives to people without any expectation in return. And I guess that comes back to our core value of help first. But it is amazing what you can get online without any handing over of money, no commitment. It's just they want to help you to do better.
And they're also, so they're invaluable as you're doing your research, and possibly, I know some companies do look at self-implementing. Yep. They're also invaluable when you're working with, like, we still refer back to them if we're doing a quarterly team meeting and we want to talk about clarity breaks or something, we'll go to the free tools and
this is your quarterly, this is your
homework.
whole team meeting that you have, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah. So
yeah.
you're starting to roll it out now into those next levels down and getting people to start using those tools in their everyday life as well.
Absolutely. It's doing our business no good if it's just the leadership team who's embracing our EOS. We want our clients to benefit from it as well. So we need the whole team to use it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I've got to say, I have genuinely loved working with you again in a different capacity this time round, but I've loved it. I've loved seeing you build up the team. I mean, having those right people is just so important. And I know you've got a really great team around you now, which makes it much easier for you. If somebody wanted to get in contact with you, Justine, and find out more about how you might be able to help their business, or even just talk about EOS, I know you're very, very generous about talking about EOS and what it's done for you, how would they get in contact with you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Justine Parsons, or go to our website, yourva.co.nz. I'm happy to talk to anyone.
And I'm going to put you on the spot here now, but we've talked about core values. I know that you do use them because you're always looking for new VAs as well. So if there just happen to be somebody who either wants to become a VA or knows somebody wants to become a VA, what would be the core values you're looking for in your virtual assistants? And I have put you on the spot there, I know.
You have put us on the spot. We are looking for, we've got 6 core values,
yep.
And they're right through our onboarding process. So we are humbly confident. We want to exceed expectations. We're positively determined, socially authentic, ethically honest, and we're trailblazers.
Yeah, fantastic. And I know when you do your core value speech, you've got a whole lot of stuff behind that really helps people understand. How do you use those when it comes to employing people? What do you do to make sure that they actually, because people can say, oh yes, no, I'm definitely humbly confident. Look how humbly confident I
am. Yeah, they're in the application form, yep. That's on our website if you're looking to apply to join us. So just simply we list our core values and we ask applicants to explain what that term means to them.
Yep.
We ask them what their core values are. We talk about it. Onboarding, they apply, then they do a series of tests because we don't want average people working with us. We want amazing people. Yeah. We go through the values in the Zoom before they join the team, and then we have an onboarding dashboard, so they're repeated in there. We also recognise one of the team each month who has represented our core values or one of our core values, and we look for those same values when we're working with clients. Yeah. So they're integral into everything that we do.
No, I can see that. That's wonderful. Hey, look, thank you again for spending some time with me. I mean, I'm fortunate I get to talk to you quite regularly, but it's really nice of you to actually share your knowledge with our listeners and with me again. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing, I know what we've got planned for this year. I can't wait to see you achieve it. I know that you will. So yeah, thank you very much, Justine.
Oh, thank you for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to share my journey, and I'm just really thankful that you're part of it.
Oh, thanks, Justine. Wonderful. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.